Oh my God! Save me!
Yo, Kurt looks so confused.
I couldn't hear any of the music. Could you guys?
No.
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, Kurt, that was perfect.
Kurt's like, yo, whose fucking hand is that? Oh, dude, that was hilarious.
All right, let me get back on the thing.
Oh, I'm crying.
All right. Now that we're ready.
Oh, look at that shit. Yeah.
What the hell? I want to let me start. There we go.
Got any camera on El Presidente?
Huh?
The camera's off.
There we go. All right. Well, let's get into the episode. We had a lot of things to talk about, a lot of games happening. Couple surprises, couple upsets. Well, depending on who you talk to, whether or not it's upset or not.
Yo, I just noticed Vinny's background. Yo,
Let's go, Buffalo.
what the fuck?
Yeah, that'd be one of them. All right, so let's get into it. Which game you guys want to start with first?
Don't matter. I didn't
Trey
watch
Gilchrist
any of the
said
beatdowns.
someone's missing. Thor's doing a team meeting right now on Zoom, so he's not going to be able to be with us.
Time to get roasted. We can't wait to see what those comments are like.
Didn't he say he'll be on at like 9:30 or something like that? Even though it's 10 o'clock. No, it's 9 o'clock. So he give him 30 minutes. Come to his game. Go to his game live.
Who knows? So let's get into a couple of the games. We'll start with Raptors, Bolts. That was a 3 p.m. game and down by the Reading area. Raptors win 54-6. They get their first win.
Yup.
I didn't see it. Couldn't tell you.
As expected.
Yeah, no surprise. I don't watch blowouts.
Next game, then.
Get to the ones that we want to talk about.
The rest of the Raptors.
What's
All right.
that? James, why is your shit all blurry?
I don't know. All right, next game. Spartans at Skyhawks. Spartans win 28-6 or 26-8.
Lost my ass on that one. I think we all took the Skyhawks, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess a little bit of a surprise. I don't know. I usually take the home team, so a little surprised. Skyhawks were playing pretty good ball. Not sure what happened. Didn't really watch it.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not even sure the film was up yet.
Brent, you did terrible this week.
Yeah, I told you I did. Triple overtime.
You went 3 for 3.
Trash.
I know. Freaking terrible.
I won the one that mattered.
I mean, I guess barely.
Here we go.
All right. Next game. Mustangs hosting the Miners. The Mustangs get their first win that doesn't involve a forfeit.
Congratulations. I'm not surprised. They look pretty good against the Vikings, even though it was a shitty game, like weather-wise. I mean, their defense flies around, man. Makes plays. You know, their offense made some plays. I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, congrats on them.
New team getting them baptism.
Yeah, congrats on them getting their first regular season win.
Moving on.
All right. Next game. This is going to be like a 20-minute episode.
I mean, it's like three blowouts right there. You brought that one up already? I thought we were waiting until Thor got here.
No.
Oh, okay. You guys watch the film?
Because all it's going to start off with is, I mean, and then excuse. So we'll move on.
Ronnie was there.
I was there. It's a good game. Stud athletes on both sides of the field. The field conditions were, I don't know about where I was walking. You were sinking in a little bit. It wasn't too muddy, but it was wet.
Yeah, it was definitely soft out there. I mean, we got up on them first. Went up 8-0. That front five is nasty, man. I mean, there's some big boys. Werner and Hoy, they cause all kinds of problems in the middle of that offensive line. But, our O-line was up to the challenge, man. They did great. I mean, they loaded the box. They wouldn't let us run. It was windy as hell, but, you have to take what the defense is willing to give you. And they were pretty much playing man up. And, we got a big first down conversion on the first drive that led to a touchdown. And then, we didn't do a whole lot the next two drives. I think they scored twice in a row. Went up 12-8 like early second quarter. And then I think we dropped like 3 touchdowns in a row. Pretty much history after that. I mean, I don't think they got within 2 scores. I think we got up like 44-18 going into the fourth quarter and just ran the ball. Got out of there, made sure everybody stayed relatively healthy. But, I mean, it's what you expect from MOVA. It's going to be physical. They got a nasty defense. Their offense played pretty well, surprisingly, for the most part. And then Jimmy Buck took over and was out there murdering quarterbacks. But yeah, I mean, it's just another game in MOVA, man. Except for, the the third quarter wasn't 3 hours long. But yeah, I mean, it was a good game. Good physical, smash mouth football game.
All right. Next game. Wildcats at Warriors. Warriors win last second, 30-26.
I watched this game. I mean, I felt like it was a pretty good game. I know there's a lot of shit going on about the referees from this game or whatnot. I wasn't at the game, obviously, but, judging from the film, I mean, it looked like a pretty good game for the most part. I mean, defensive lines were, creating some pressure. The O-lines actually had some good plays in there where some good series where they were blocking pretty good. And, the Wildcats made plays, man. They were killing that middle of the field. That crossing route was open. They were taking advantage of it. But Warriors didn't fold up. They were down 3 scores. They made some plays in the second half. And, everybody, I think, saw the last play of the game where they hit that little whip route for a touchdown. So, credit to Wilkes-Barre for not folding up. Maybe in the years past, I'm not sure they bounced back down 3 scores like that. Usually they're fighting with each other and falling apart. Teams seem to unify at halftime, came out with a different mentality in the second half. And, they were physical. Defense gets around. They're physical. They made plays.
They're fast. They got some speed on that defense too.
Yeah.
Really, really fast.
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty surprised with the Wildcats O-line. I thought they didn't do a half bad job this week compared to how they were in Lancaster.
Yeah, they held up better than they had.
Yeah, I mean, they gave time, and when they gave time, there was play. They made plays. I mean, I think they hit. I think Nowlin they hit down the seam on a little go route from the slot for like a nice little 20-yard chunk. I mean, it was a good call. I don't know if it was designed that way or if it was just an adjustment that they made, but they made plays like that, and then I'm not sure what happened. Like it just all kind of changed. Like old momentum showed up, I guess. Warriors started making plays, and Wildcats didn't have an answer.
Yeah, it was definitely a tale of 2 halves. You go in 26-6 at half. You come out and you don't score in the second half. I question, what plays, why would they want to go back to the well? The short passing game that was working in the first half, like you talked about them hitting them up the seam, that seemed to be open. That still was open in the second half. They seemed to run the football a lot more in the second half than they were in the first. It was almost like they let their foot off the gas in the second half. And, I'd like to know why. Why they wouldn't go back to what was working, because I didn't see, the Warriors necessarily doing anything to make them come out of what they were doing in the first half that they were successful with. So.
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors did all right on offense, man. I mean, they got a nice like 3-headed backfield back there. You know what I mean? I saw Train in there a little bit. Ron, 16. That kid's nasty.
Yeah, they definitely got some team speed over there.
Their quarterback, for being first year in the league, right? It's his first year in the league. I mean, he looks solid, man. He's got, he's not afraid to stand in that pocket, and make passes, take hits, or pull it down and run. Like, I mean, they got a solid team. They can just, keep building on what they've already done and stay together and not have those, kind of meltdown collapses that they're known for. I mean, Williamsport's got to pick up some pieces. That's 2 losses in a row. Team that was pretty high praised coming out of the gate. They got a tough road. It's a different playoff scenario this year, man. Them losses, they mean something now.
Yeah, it all hurts.
Yeah.
I think defensively in the second half, I think they could have pressured a little more. I seen sometimes it would look like a 2-man line and they were dropping all kind of coverage. New quarterback, my philosophy is pressure. Send them. But
pressure bust pipes.
That's why I'm sitting here and they're coaching 8-man football. That's I guess it's an opinion thing.
No, man. I mean, you see that though sometimes. Like, I don't know. I kind of feel that way. Like, if that two-man line, it can be good, but more times than not, it kind of bites you in the ass. Like, it seems like pressure in this league is better, and I know it's a risk when you playing against mobile quarterbacks and guys that can move and throw and do all that good shit in open field. But to me, it's like if you sit back and you give a guy, all day to throw the ball against a two-man line, he's getting no pressure. Eventually, he's going to
With
find somewhere to go
weapons.
with that ball.
Yes.
Right. They're going to find somewhere to go with that ball. And that's the other thing. Like, there were some crazy good catches made in that game. Like, just some really good hands catches, like on some short routes and shit. Like, to me, it looked like a damn good game. I'm not sure what all the fuss is about the refs. There were multiple penalties that I've seen just on false starts alone on both sides of the ball that weren't called. The Warriors got hammered in the second quarter on penalties. I mean, if anybody got penalized a shit ton in that game, it was the Warriors. Because that second quarter, they probably got at least 7 or 8 penalties that I saw. Shit, most of those were probably on one drive when they went from like their own, or from like the 5-yard line the whole way back to their own like 15-yard line.
What's your thought on the 2 quarterback system? Some people say you got 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterback.
I learned the hard way.
That's something I've always said. That's been my rule of thumb. When you got 2, you got none. But this seems, it works out for some people. So
is it working at 1 and 2?
1 and 2 is. I mean, let's see what happens down the road, down the stretch.
I mean, let's be honest. There's not too many times that you've seen 2 quarterback systems work. Like, there's a reason for that.
Saw it work in the chip game a couple years ago.
It did.
Ouch.
Well, no, that was.
Hold on, Travis. I just got to reach back and pull that knife out of my bag.
No, that was a quarterback change, though.
Yeah, I know it was. It was adjustment. It was a halftime adjustment quarterback change.
That year, that wasn't a system.
Right.
We brought in Haas off the bench, and he had fresh legs, and well, that story's told. But when the next year, when we decided to go with a 2 quarterback system, they both wanted to start, and it was like neither one of them wanted to be on the bench, and they were good teammates about it most of the time, but it hurt us in the long run, to be honest. So if I had going forward, I don't know that I would do that again.
Yeah, because it also brings a little bit of animosity in there. You know what I mean? And that's the last thing you want inside a team is any kind of animosity or turmoil, because then you're asking for it to self-destruct in the end. Like, and especially when it's the leader of the team. I mean, everybody knows the quarterback's the leader of the team. Like, quarterback says shit, that goes. If you got 2 dudes that are supposed to both be playing quarterback, butting heads with each other, and I don't give a shit what you say. Yeah, it works. Yeah, we make it work. Nah, bullshit. Deep down inside, it ain't working for you. I can tell you that. Any competitor, it's not working for you. Everybody wants to be that guy. So,
well, and you're afraid to make a mistake because that guy's just waiting to take your job, and I think it didn't work for me. So I'm not going to be the one to say it's not going to work for them, but it might be better off of going with one, and because both of them can play wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean both of them play receiver pretty well. So.
Sick.
And they can both play quarterback. You just got to pick what way you want to go.
Yeah, but it's a little different at that position.
It is.
I mean, I don't know those guys that well, other than Haas and Keys, but it's JR's team from the outside looking in.
Sure.
And
yeah,
to bring
absolutely.
Haas in and say, okay, now you're in charge, you're the quarterback, and I'm going to play wide receiver. I don't know the dynamics inside of that locker room. I don't know what that would mean there. I think they both can be very successful, but obviously, it's something's not right there because the talent's there. So,
I mean, from my perspective, seeing them in person, especially with Haas and JR, I saw no turmoil between the two, no second guessing each other. Haas came in for JR. JR told him, go get it. JR would be in the huddle helping Haas. All right, this is what I saw. They actually worked pretty well as a team, cohesive unit, the two of them at quarterback. So I don't see anything that would say like, all right, there's a problem with the quarterbacks here.
Yeah, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. I mean, they play two solid football teams.
Sure.
I mean, it's, they're 1-2. The season's not over. They still have 7 more games left. And
Absolutely.
I mean, we'll see what happens. They're going to get in divisional play now. We'll see how they meld down the stretch. I mean, James made a good point. And, Kurt made a good point, too, that if that's the dynamic of the team and it is, one team, and he's saying, hey, man, it's your turn. You're in. And they can make this work without any issue. It can't work.
I agree. I don't think those two have issues. But I was standing on the sidelines at the Cyclones game, and there's guys that quit and walked off the field, and they were saying some things that in regard to the rotation. Well, this guy should be playing. That guy should be playing. It might not be those two, but inside a locker room, so everybody has their sides. And like I said, I'm on the outside looking in. I have no idea what goes on over there, but
and I wasn't saying there was any turmoil or anything, but I mean, like we're all saying, the quarterback's running the show. I mean, so when you change the person running the show, things are going to run differently. So that's all.
All right. Let's move on to the last game of second to last game of the week. Tomahawks traveling to the Savages, a battle of 2 undefeated. This one went into triple overtime, with the Tomahawks winning 44-38.
Closer than I thought it was going to be.
I watched the game. Did you guys watch it? I mean, it was a good game. Both quarterbacks kind of struggled throwing the ball. It was a little breezy out there, I would assume, as it was pretty much across the state of PA on Saturday. But I mean, yeah, Mason Schweitzer, man, I think they should have charged him rent as much as he spent in their backfield. He absolutely was killing them up front. And, I mean, everybody knows pressure up the middle, it's tough. It's tough when you got to roll out and you're cutting off half the field. Savage's quarterback, though, man, I mean, that kid does all right. He's an athlete. He makes plays. He's not scared to run down the field, you know what I mean? Drop a shoulder on somebody. He doesn't look like a big kid, but he's definitely all right. Like I said, both quarterbacks struggled. It was, defense, man. Defense in this game for the most part. Buford obviously made a bunch of plays. Like, I mean, he did last year. He's nice. He actually caught the game winner. It was a nice ball. I mean, it was weird. Like, both quarterbacks struggled in the second half, but seemed to get better, like, late in the game when, the teams needed it. And then, overtime was, I think Savages scored first, and then Tomahawks topped it. And then neither team scored the second overtime. And then Savages got stopped, and they hit Buford for that, I think, a little fade route, back shoulder fade. And that was pretty much it, man. I mean, it was a hell of a game. That's basically what I got from it. Like, defenses dominated this, especially up front. Like I said, Schweitzer was basically camping out in their backfield. And, yeah.
Definite inconsistent offensive line play.
Yeah.
They do well, and then all of a sudden the pipes would just burst. So that was the tale of that.
But I think we talked about this last week too. That seems to be like the common theme of this year. Like,
I hope these linemen are yelling to their quarterbacks.
There's a bunch of teams that have some pretty solid defensive front lines, And when they get on the offensive line, that's just inconsistent. Like they're getting dominated up front.
Well, and that happens too. But I also think, as coaching, when you're having struggles with the O line, you got to help them out too. I mean, your O line struggling. There's a lot of these quarterbacks now that are mobile. You were talking about the Savage's quarterback and his athleticism. Move the pocket. Slide protect. Do things that are going to help your O line help them out a little bit. Get rid of the ball quicker.
Yeah, I think that
instead of holding those 9s and 7s and 8s and crossing routes, let's get some 2s and 1s and 0s. Get the ball out of his hand quick, because I don't see a lot of that.
Savages were doing a lot of that. They were throwing those little quick hitches on the outside, little 5-7 yard hitches. They were hitting it to the middle of the field. That seemed to be a lot of where their success in the passing game came from. Like passes down the field weren't happening in that game at all. A lot of overthrown balls, a lot of errant balls. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Like the Tomahawks, I actually think put a tight end in, and we're going like 4-man protection, and then kind of releasing him out. I know they hit Swicer across the middle on the one. He like chipped and then released across the middle, and I mean he picked up a nice like 15-yard gain. So I mean, teams, they made plays when they needed to. It wasn't obviously the greatest game, but both defenses were super competitive in that game. And, I think the offenses struggled because of it for the most part.
I think that's a great game to me.
Yeah. And I mean, not too many times we get to see a triple overtime game in the Gefa.
Yeah.
So I think that says all it needs to say.
One thing I would like, to say is the Savage's quarterback, he's mobile. And the one thing I did see from him is he likes to look down the field, which is great. While he's scrambling, he's not just looking to run. He is looking down the field. My one critique would be for him to keep the football in the throwing position. A lot of times he's dropping that football down here as scrambling. If he wants to keep that thing up, he's still looking downfield. He's still mobile. He can now release that thing and get it out of there quicker as opposed to having to wind it up. I think his coaches need to, sit him down and let him see that, in this film so that he can get out there, and it'll make him more efficient, especially while he's scrambling on the run.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into the last game, which a lot of people took as an upset, except for Vinny. Buffalo's hosting the Comanche. Buffalo to win 43-19. Vinny, take it away.
It was a good physical game. I mean, everybody's question was what's going to happen when the ball gets thrown around. They didn't have to throw the ball around. The question was, what are the D-backs going to do when the ball's getting run? And the Comanche played good defense. Like, they played their keys well, like everybody thought they were going to. Just there's so many options in that offense, and they run it well. And then once the quarterback started pulling it, they had no answer.
Yeah, I think the Comanche D line played exceptional in this game. I think for the most part. I just think eventually at some point, man, that constant getting pounded on and pounded on and pounded on repeated plays, and then all of a sudden you got two guys going two different directions. You don't know who's getting the handoff, and then all of a sudden the quarterback's keeping it on his own read right up the fucking gut on you. You know what I mean? Like you have to be super disciplined against that run game, because if you are not, you are going to get gashed. And that running back hit up some zone replays on them and gashed them for like 20-yard runs. And, I think it was a crucial part in the game because I think the score was rather close. The Buffalo's quarterback pulled it on his own read, ran up the gut, hurdled the dude, got popped, fumbled the ball. And, it was there for the taking. And the Comanche missed the opportunity. Buffalo's recovered it. And I think they scored. And, that run game just took over, man. Like, they played great defense for, like, the first half, maybe even over, like, into the third quarter-ish. And then that run game just started to churn out yardage.
Yeah.
And I think the Comanche lost their second quarterback. I don't know if I heard their starter wasn't there. And I didn't see the second quarterback. I think went out like early third or mid third quarter, and then they were using like their running back the rest of the game. It looked like.
Yeah, there were a bunch of turnovers. I'm like, the ball just kind of looked like it was just kind of chucked up there.
Yeah, they weren't. The Comanche were down like two, maybe 3 scores at the time. I think they were only down 2, and they were just running the ball like 3, 4, 5, 6 plays in a row. And I'm like, a team trailing that's trying to come back and win this game is not running the ball in that situation. So I think they were definitely to the point where it was like, we don't even have a guy that can really throw the ball to try to come back. Let's just try to save our guys, you know what I mean, getting beat up, getting any more injuries or whatever. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the story of that was definitely that run game just wore them out, I think, because they played great defense for the most part early in that game, and even probably into the third quarter, like I said.
I didn't see the game.
Linebackers. My bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Vinny. Go ahead. I'll get it.
I was just going to say Buffalo's linebackers played well too. They looked fast.
I didn't get to that part yet.
Yeah, I'm assuming the game's up. I didn't get a chance to see it, but in that type of offense, if you're not gap sound, they're going to make you look foolish. I think there's times you got to bring that safety down and you got to slant the line, and that linebacker's got to play over the top, and you got to be able to tackle, because that quarterback's not little. He's not afraid to run. He's
a good runner.
He is a good runner. So you got to have someone on that. There's a lot of things you can do, but if the players listen, you can create some problems for that offense, but you got to be disciplined. And I think that's, if anybody needs help, let me know. I got you.
The Buffaloes actually did throw that ball in the game, or throw the ball in that game, Vinny. Like,
he did. He had what, 2? Did he throw
pretty
2?
decently? Yeah, he was pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty decently. He had a couple nice passes. You mentioned it already. I thought the Buffalo's defense played great against that run game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they got downhill. Their linebackers were reading and reacting and getting in the hole. Like, I mean, I was surprised by how good their defense played, to be honest. Like, I didn't expect that.
Well, last year their defense wasn't very good at all.
That's kind of why I didn't expect that.
Yeah, their defense, I mean, they gave us fits last year, I'll be honest. But their defense, we could have scored 100 points on them if we wanted to, but their offense was just, their defense just looked like they weren't sure what was going on, but apparently not this year. They picked up some pieces and they're playing some good football.
Last year, that was their first year, right?
Yeah,
I believe it was.
Nobody else in the league is running it on 3rd and 10 and getting the first down.
Those guys don't give a shit. They will.
It is really fun to watch. That's for sure.
Their play calling's nice too, because like they're not afraid to, you know, run it on 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 5, where most teams would be passing. You know what I mean? Like, they're not worried about it. They're like, hey, fuck it. We're gonna run it on 3rd and 4, and if we don't get it, we'll run it on 4th and 4.
And that's why they're running, because they're going for it on 4th.
Yeah, it looks like they have an answer. Whatever they look at the formation, the defensive front, they think they have an answer, whatever they're calling. And they have, you know, if this guy goes this way, this is what we're going to, I mean, it is fun to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I saw one play where they had literally 2 guys going 2 opposite directions, and the quarterback's like, choop, 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 right up the gut. I was like, Jesus. I mean,
it's hard enough to run. It's hard enough to run that offense on an 11-man field, let alone 8-man, with it so much smaller and tighter and quicker reads. Like, it's tough.
You have to definitely get some good blocking up front, man. You got to give mad credit to that O-line for doing their job. But especially with no cut blocking in this league, which is probably what you might get a little bit more on some of that.
You typically would, yes. And
yeah,
last year when we played them, they were a little low a few times. I don't think they were doing it on purpose, but that's just how you block that offense. So
yeah.
Yeah, James.
You said they ran the ball on 3rd and 8 and got it.
Believe it.
I mean, that's brutal. I mean, that's brutal. That'll wear a defense out quicker than shit.
It's been a lot of time on the field like that.
Yeah, you're being
Shorten
on the
the
field
game
for
real
10
quick.
plays, 10-play drives on a 50-yard field, dude. You're getting a shit pounded out of you. You know what I mean? And this is repeatedly drive after drive after drive. Not to mention, like, the Buffaloes can kind of manage the game. You know what I mean? They can control it from turning into a blowout if you're like one of those fucking bombing up one play teams. You know what I mean? Okay, you want to put your defense back out on the field after we just ran 8 or 9 plays on them? Cool. We're gonna do it again. by the third or fourth drive, man, I mean, you've already had a constant rotation, and you know all your guys are fucking suck and win because they're on the field for 20 plays and 2 drives. That's tough.
We'll see. I'd like to see this game replayed with the Comanches quarterback.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be, you know, a much different game probably.
And who knows?
Huh?
No, I was saying, who knows? We might see that in the playoffs because,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's one thing to say, yeah, they were able to run the football. However, we can't sugarcoat the fact that the Comanches were one-sided without the quarterback. So you get him out there, and now he can spread the ball around and do what he does. And if they get up 2 scores, and now you put the pressure with Ben, the Achilles heel for the Buffaloes, when they get down, being able to throw the football to come back in the game. We'll see.
That's what I'm saying.
Time to tell, because right now they're playing even.
That's what I said about them game managing.
Lately?
Oh, Vinny, shut up. Nobody wants to hear that
What have you
nonsense.
done for me lately?
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
That's how it works. How many times
It is.
have you said
I mean, I'm with you. I'm just saying I want to see what happens when the quarterback's there. That's all. Congratulations to them on not taking anything away from the Buffalo. They played a solid football game.
Wasn't
they've been
the
doing
quarterback the offensive MVP or rookie of the year or something last year? London or what's his name?
Yeah.
London Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson. He's good.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You can't take him away from their team and then say.
Yeah, I didn't know that he wasn't there. That's a big difference.
Yeah, anytime you don't have your leader, it's a big difference. I mean, it's just things are going to run differently with the backup quarterback. And eventually they lost that, and we're using a running back.
Yo, that's why you need 2 quarterbacks.
Oh, Vinny.
3, apparently. 3. I mean.
Not everybody had a Logan Jacoby, could step in at any time and take over a game.
He couldn't handle that. Damn. They're going to love that one in the comments.
Where's he at this year? I hadn't seen him. He hanging up?
We won't discuss anything.
I got no filter.
Talk about that later.
Gotcha.
Oh, shit.
In the next week's games, first, let's go over the standings for the Pick'ems this year.
Oh, God.
Yeah, oh, God is right. In first place is Vinny at 15-1. Second place is Coach Kerr, 14-2. Travis is 13-3. Thor is 12-2, and Brent is 11-3. Vinny had the best record last week.
Make sure they send you a Buffaloes T-shirt to wear.
Yeah, I was gonna say I need my T-shirt Buffaloes. Hit me up. T-shirt, hoodie, something.
Yeah, send me the shirt, and it'll be a year for you to get it.
Dude, you're like 2 miles down the road. Drop it off.
I'm not going to your house. You drive past my house to go to work. I'll leave it on the fence.
I'll leave it on the fence. Appreciate it. I'll see some guy walking with it, getting on the bus.
All right, let's get into it. First game, Raptors at Miners.
Raptors. Lot to a little.
Right. What's the score?
What's my score? 64-8.
You wanted to say 0.
Shut up, Brett.
I also picked the Raptors. I'll say 52-6.
Raptors 62-6.
Kerr?
Raptors 48-16.
All right, next game, Spartans at Warriors.
Go Warriors. Let's go 42-18.
I got Warriors 48-2.
2. Warriors 50-12.
Oh my God. That's still circulating. Oh man. Yeah, Warriors seem to have it going on right now, man. I mean, team look pretty good. I got them. I'll say 58-12.
All right. The new look Mustangs at the Bolts.
That's a short trip.
Mustangs get their second win. We'll go Mustangs 48-6.
I see a common theme this week.
Yeah, Mustangs 46-6. Just so I don't have 48.
I got Mustangs 42-8.
This could be the week.
Oh shit.
It all changes in Bloomsburg for the Hazleton Mustangs because they're gonna win. 40-12.
You're stupid.
Buffaloes at Skyhawks.
That's a long trip.
Buffaloes 44-13.
Staying there.
That ground game's too much.
Buffaloes 58-6.
Buffalo's 42-12.
Got Buffalo's 64-12.
All right. Savages at Wilpo.
Oh.
Mm.
This is a
In
big
Williamsport.
game for the Wildcats.
This is the week. This is the
Big
week. I'm not gonna say what though. Go ahead.
They got to bounce back. Go Wildcats.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm with you.
Wildcats 38. Nah, they're going higher than that. Let's go 52-38. 52-38 Wildcats.
I am definitely good. Oh, go ahead.
Look, I got Wildcats 44-41 in a thriller.
I got Williamsport putting on a clinic 72-30.
Ooh.
Yeah. I had to consult my little inside source on this one. I'm taking Williamsport in the big one, 58-12.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those where Ewok walks out of there with like 6 of them or something.
Yeah.
Vinny, this is why you get so much hate.
Why?
All right.
I mean, I couldn't pick Savages 2 weeks in a row. They let me down last week, so sorry. Sorry. You let me down.
Skylar Hoffman says, what's the over-under the cops get called at this game?
Not even. That's
Terrible.
stupid.
All right, next one. Cyclones at Tomahawks.
I'll pick the Cyclones.
Cyclones, big. 66-23.
Have you guys ever blown up the Tomahawks?
Have we?
2016 Keystone Bowl.
Do some history research there, Travis.
Well, I'm
I
asking
don't know
you.
what else to tell you, buddy.
I'm asking you.
Yes. Few times.
Where's
Yeah,
this
that
game
D
at?
line's too much. 62-20. Cyclones.
62-20.
Yep, defense. They
Hmm.
give up yards, but they don't give up points.
Yeah. I'm going. Did everybody pick?
Yep.
My turn,
Yep.
Lone Wolf.
Go
Smell
ahead.
an upset coming on. And I'm going the Tomahawks 22, Cyclones 58. I smell an upset, just not in this game.
That's terrible. All right. Vikings at Comanche.
Ooh. Is this game of the week?
Yep.
You know why he skipped. He knew what he was doing.
So one of the two championship caliber teams from last year is going to have 2 losses. Is that what you're saying?
Mm.
Wow.
Man, I wish this was in
how the
MOBA.
tables have turned. Man, this is a big one.
How
This is
big
a
of a
real
game
big
is
one.
this one?
I got to go with the Vikings. 64-48, the Vikings. No way Thor lets me down.
I also go with the Vikings, but I don't think the score reaches that high. I think this is 38-34. Those defenses are pretty strong.
My turn?
Now remember, Marquise Holton's back for the Comanche.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's pretty good at defensive line.
You can only play 3 of them. The 3 they were playing against the Buffaloes look pretty good.
Yeah, I don't see the Vikings dropping 2 in a row. Vikings 52-38.
These two teams look forward to this game.
Quarterback's still a question, though, for the Comanche.
He back?
And that's a D line coming at you.
I mean, if their starter's back, I don't think there's any question.
Was he injured or he just didn't make the trip last week? Does anybody know?
I have no clue. I don't think he was injured. Week 1, they played the Miners. It looked like he was out at halftime. The game was over.
I'm
Trey said
hearing
London's
London will
back.
be there.
I'm being 100% honest. If this game was in MOVA, I would go with the. The Kasim loves to play there. He just wins with the Comanche.
Yeah.
But it's not. So I'm going to go with MOVA. I'll go 42-38.
I mean, Zach Hoy and Jimmy Werner are game changers, man.
Yeah.
That's all. That's a lot to stop in the middle. I can tell you that right now. I mean, this is a huge game. Huge game.
They said that London had school. Trey Gilchrist says Comanche 38-35, win with a field goal.
Fucking Trey. Yeah, I think this is definitely gonna. This game's gonna be physical for sure. I'd be surprised if this one turns into a shootout. Clearly, I've been known to be wrong. Judging by my pick'ems record.
I don't know. If the Comanche could jump ahead of them early and go through the third quarter, they won't have to deal with that MOVA third quarter. So might be able to hold on to that lead quicker.
That's true. I mean, I think if the Comanche get their run game going and they get to balance it out with some play action passes and throws, whatever, it could be tough for the Vikings. But Vikings are stingy against the run. I mean, they know how to shut down lanes. They're tough. It's going to be a good chess match. It's a pretty good game of the week, too. I like it.
Yeah. A whole lot of film being watched this week, that's for sure, with those two teams.
Yeah.
That's why Thor's not here. He's watching film.
I get it.
Oh, yeah. Big game. Two teams that don't really like each other all that much. Used to be
You
old
can't really
conference foes.
You can't ask for more from a rivalry than this game.
Yeah, it's a pretty legit rivalry, too. Not just two teams that play each other all the time.
This is probably the first Keystone rematch since what, 2017? That was played during the season?
Man, could be
Or
mad.
no?
That should always happen.
I don't think that even happened in 2017.
I think we played the Vikings. I think we played the Vikings in the regular season in 2019.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because the whole, what the hell was it? Raptors thing in MOVA. Yeah, that was a rough
Still a
year.
proponent of that classic being a rematch Stone Bowl.
I agree. I thought it should have been this year.
I've been saying that since we started it. Scared to take that first loss in the beginning of the season. Come on Facebook and talk all the junk. We're rah-rah, we're the greatest. But then when it comes time to play somebody, you want to duck them. Yeah, I said it.
I love it. Tell them how it is. Nobody want to see those matchups we got this year, that's for sure. I mean, I think that's a hell of a way to start the year. You can have Keystone Bowl rematch, and then you can have the other two teams that did make it. Makes sense.
Yeah, that should be the kickoff games, the classics.
Yeah, absolutely.
That we put brand new teams out there to play against veteran teams.
You get massacred.
Smoked by 80.
All right, we got anything else to add before we go?
Nope. Just another week. Here we go. Try to keep it together.
As for all of us, we're out of here. Be safe. Be normal.
Kirby out.
Kurt's like, I'm gone. Peace.